Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. We are here today to talk about the third to last show of Goose Fall Tour here in Richmond, Virginia. I, of course, am with my good friend Neil. Hi, Neil.
Oh, hey, what's happening, man? Third to
Doing
last
great.
show. It's sad. It's
I know,
sad.
it's very sad. Not enough shows.
And like for a long time too. Like we're
Yeah.
not going to be talking about music for a while, so we're going to have to find something to do with ourselves. There are
I'm
other
sure we'll
tours,
manage.
I
I'm sure we'll
suppose. Yeah.
manage. There's a Jam of the Year bracket.
Oh, they say that's coming soon.
It's gonna happen. It's only a couple months away. You know, after
Yeah.
Goosemas, we kick that into gear. But
Well, you know, listen, it's a couple months away,
yeah,
and there's still Goosemas to happen. But if you want to participate, you can start now because the music for the year is basically over. You just have a couple more shows. A few more.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there's tonight, there's tomorrow, Halloween,
Yes.
Definitely possible to have something. It's 2 sets.
Oh, right, of course.
And then 2 nights of
Halloween.
Goosemas. So there's
Yeah.
a little something. But before we get started, of course, before we get started talking about last night's show, of course, got to give a huge shout out to our partners for this fall tour, Hannah and Kait, aka the Cacao Girls, which I believe the ceremony is happening right now, or it just wrapped up here in Richmond. If you've ever wanted to elevate your concert experience beyond your usual pre-show routine, Hannah and Kait have created something amazing called the Conscious Pregame. Whether you're at the show or on the couch, they guide you through cacao ceremonies and meditative rituals to ground your energy, open your heart, and connect more deeply with the music, the moment, and the show. Visit www.hannahandkait.com. That's Kait. And use code AATPOD for 15% off any purchases over $25. Of course, there are no in-person Conscious Pregames currently on the calendar, but you can get a kit for at home. Doesn't just have to be for Goose. This first of all, you can do it any day, but if you would like to Conscious Pregame for other shows or for Couch Tour, of course, there's so many streams coming up over the next couple of months. Get on that. There we go. Dude starting podcasts with a cynical take today. Over under on more bracket jams at 1.5. Easiest over of my life.
What he's saying for the rest of the year?
I think so.
I don't think he's saying that. That seems overly cynical.
Might be.
Yeah,
I feel like that's in line. Anyway, we're here to talk about
Philly. You know,
right?
And hold on,
they're going to play something that ranks 10 on my list, but will inevitably win the bracket.
Maybe if we're going to follow the last 2 years.
I was talking to Sim earlier. I went over to the Richmond Flowdown earlier this afternoon. We were talking about how funny it would be if they played the Man Tumble again, but it was like better and like rightfully won Jam of the Year, according to what I think.
Well, I mean, I think what's become clear is that what you believe should be the Jam of the Year is not in line with what the people believe should be the Jam of the Year.
Correct.
And so just want to clarify that the Jam of the Year is what you make of it. So you don't have to do it the way that Ryan would do it.
It's true.
So I would say that people are doing it fine. They're doing it right. They're following
doing it
their
fine.
hearts.
I don't know if they're doing it right. Anyway,
they're selecting the jam that they find to be the best, and that's the way it should be done.
There we go.
I'm not going to tell anybody that they're wrong.
Well, let's talk about last night's show. Thursday night, Richmond, Virginia. First shows in Richmond in 3 years. Last ones were at the National, end of September 2022. Crazy that it's been that long. But this venue, Allianz Amphitheater, it's pretty new. Panic opened it? No, I'm thinking of Wilmington. I forget who opened this one, but I think it's new this summer. But this is a fantastic venue right on the river here in Richmond. We had a beautiful sunset before the show. It's pretty small. I think it fits like 7,000 or 8,000 people, but it's pretty small. But of course, it's new, and the only gripe is that there's only one bathroom in the whole place, and it was a long line. But other than that, beautiful, beautiful space.
So we're getting back to bathroom reviews. This is 2 in a row.
I know, it's crazy.
How close was the bathroom to the merch line this time?
It was not the same line. Thankfully, okay. They were going in opposite directions in a similar area at one point, but it was not the same line.
We've made progress in modern venue design.
There we go. There we go. Well, let's talk about the show, because this is a really interesting show, and there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of songs. There's a lot of things that happen. There are arrows in places. There are all kinds of annotations, new things. all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Well,
First
we get a nice 3-pack. Yes, Lead Up has opened a show once, so this counts as a 3-pack. Everything Must Go, Draconian, Meter Maid, and Lead Up. EMG, surprising to see in this slot. It has only opened a show once before, which was Dallas in 2022, a show that we don't need to really remember, except for Trevor teasing Jurassic Park in Empress. But cool jam, and nice to see a show start out with a little bit of improv. Especially sometimes a lot of the time we don't see that. So cool to get a nice little 12-minute rendition of this jam. Neil, you were really excited about all of these micro jams that happened in this first set.
I think you're putting words in my mouth there. Really excited might not be the way I would describe it. I think the way I would describe this first set is like solidly played, but void of huge jams. And if you're not going to have any jams at all, this is what I would prefer is some kind of jams. And you do get that in this Everything Must Go. This is also a rare opener, I guess.
Yeah, only once before.
This is not what you would expect. Yeah, only once before, but like rare is the wrong word to describe it. It's just like it's something different. And boy, do I love things that don't feel the same when it comes to this band, because I listen to every note they play, and I want things to feel different and fresh and exciting. And I think if this sticks as an opener, I'm stoked. That's a really, really good thing. Like, this shouldn't be like a once a tour at what they view as a special show, which I think they did view this as a special show. Whether or not the jams really kind of prove that, I think some of the things they did in the show do. So, so that's pretty cool. That's a great way to start a show. Are we going through?
No, that's great. I said the 3-pack.
So we're gonna do the 3-pack. Okay, yeah. The Meter Maid is good. The jam in it is, I think, really nice for as short as it is.
Well, yeah,
unfortunate that it's short. But it
still
can be good.
A couple of jam. It can be good, but it can also be disappointing that they cut it off at 9 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I think if you take it on face value for what your ears heard, and you're not
when did you become such a vibes guy?
Well, because something has to counterbalance how much of a sourpuss you are about every time they don't do 20-minute jams.
Well, no, it's not. I don't need a 20-minute jam, Neil. It's more like, here's a jam vehicle. We're gonna start improvising. We're gonna hit on a cool idea, and then we're gonna bail on that cool idea and segue into Lead Up instead.
Yeah, they also had a bunch of songs they wanted to play, and they got through them all. Okay. And you do get a little bit of a jam at the end of the set, and the playing is still good. I mean, yes, would it be better if there were more jams? Great. Yes, absolutely, it would be better. But what would be worse? If there were none at all, and you at least get some. That is what would be
worse still than if Goose didn't even play this show. So yeah.
So yeah,
we can just keep going. You know what would be worse? If Goose didn't exist at all. But it does, and they did play this show, and they did play this set like this. So this is how we're gonna talk about it. Lead Up.
That's how
finally,
you're gonna talk about it.
It returns. I actually forgot that they played it at the Racket show. I was thinking that the last time they played it was in Wilmington. But just over 20 shows for Lead Up. But crazy to be on the shelf for this long. Especially, it's an album year. It was on one of the albums.
And I don't get it. It's if you're going to throw it in that first set area where you've got a whole bucket of songs that you play only in that spot, that location, it's weird to leave one of your better songs for that role off the list for as long as they have. I don't quite understand that. Although, there's a few things lately set listing wise I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why there aren't more instances of, say, Time to Flee
or Torero
second song jammer slot, or Torero, I'm less confused about, because that's not really truly an established song yet. And they have had a history of introducing a song and then putting it immediately on the shelf for what feels like an eternity. And then it comes back reworked a little bit. And that's probably what's happening with Torero. I think it might have just been a little raw, man. I mean, I like it, but they might have said, hey, listen, we think we can do better with this thing. And the last song that I think was similar to that was How It Ends, right? Like, they played it and then didn't play it forever.
But they only played it once. Torero was played 4 times, had 2 versions that are on my Jam of the Year playlist.
Yeah, that is also true.
So,
but they still can put it back on the shelf and rework, which I do
that's
think
very
it
true.
could use a little work. Could use a little
Well,
work.
we'll find out if they play it.
Yep.
After Lead Up, we get All I Need into SOS and then Chocolate Town, debut of a Ween cover. This is a puzzling part of the set for me. I know there are a lot of people who love Ween, and there are a lot of people, or a few people I know, who are very excited about this cover. I think it was good. I don't really like the placement of it in this set. You know, you have another jam that gets bailed on, and here goes Neil with it. All I Need. You can't expect it to be 20 minutes because they don't do that anymore. I can hope that they're going to do something interesting with it instead of ripcording it into SOS. And
my point is, after a certain point, you can't just keep saying like, "Oh man, they really hosed this one." They hose them all now,
and I will.
The thing that you can do is be grateful when it is like 20 plus minutes, like New Haven. Then you can say like, "Oh man, they finally like leaned into it." Super stoked about that. But to be like, "Oh man, I'm super pissed," every time they do an 8-minute version now, it's just like that's every version, dude. Like you gotta roll with it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I don't have to be happy about it. I have come to terms with the fact that this is the norm for this song, but I don't have to love it.
You have not come to terms. That is my point. You have not come to terms, and you need to
come to terms with it. But I'm going to keep complaining. Anyway, this split of SOS also confuses me. I feel like in the past, you know, like instead of going into the Dawn segment of the song, they've gone into something cool or unique or whatever. Like it just feels like they kind of ended and then played Chocolate Town, which it felt weird in the moment for sure.
Well, you're not a Ween guy. I mean,
yeah, I'm not a Ween guy, but I like the song. I think it's a good cover, but like,
yeah, I think it's good. You know what's funny, man, about Ween is like there are folks in this community who are just like rabid Ween fans, and then there are other folks who are just like, yeah, you know, I've heard them a couple times. They're all right, you know,
Roses
and I
are
feel
free.
like. Yeah, like, you know, oh yeah, Fish covered them. And I think I put myself in the latter category, although like not completely. Like I have listened to some Ween over the years, but I'm certainly not a rabid Ween fan, and I haven't like dug into their catalog. So like I am not going to have that visceral reaction when I hear this, when I hear Goose play this live, where like, oh my god, like they're covering Ween, you know, as if I would if they like, I don't know, played Ship of Fools for the first time since the Troubadour. You know, I'd like lose my mind if that happened. And so like I don't know if I can accurately gauge how most people felt about this. I know how I felt about it. I thought it was like a neat cover, and that is all. It's like you. I think that's what you're basically saying.
Yeah.
But I do acknowledge that they felt that this was special because they learned a new song and put it out there. You know, that's not every day that happens.
Absolutely. And I admire the fact that they're taking a chance with this. Well, speaking of things that happened for the first time, they jammed California Magic.
That is debatable, whether or not they jammed California Magic. I think if you asked different band members, like if you polled all 4 band members and you said, what song were you playing in that moment? You might get 4 different answers.
That's not possible. There are 2 answers here. How can you have 4 answers?
4 different answers? You could be playing nothing at all. You could be playing
a jam.
Just a jam, which you know how I feel about noting jam on live set listing. Some people say, is that what we're doing right now? Are we bickering?
Yes, always.
It's kind of our vibe. But they could be extending the jam from, I mean, I guess Welcome to Delta. Cali. Yeah. And I got it backwards in my head for a second there. And then and then it could be.
They could be playing Indian River, and there's no 4th option. Sorry, you were taking a really long time to say nothing.
Well, no, the 4th option is like, I don't know. Maybe I forget where I was going with that. But like in any case, 3 options.
Anyway,
and so you might get 3 different answers.
According to the board,
I mean, your 4th answer would be from Trevor, which is like, were we really playing music at all, man? Like there was a moment where we were playing nothing at all. Existentially, nothing was happening in that moment. This is
a really cool few minutes of improv. Amazing Rhodes work from Peter here. That thing just sounds so good. But I love the laid back vibe and the way that it kind of leads into Indian River. You know, they kind of back off the segue as they tend to do sometimes. But I liked this, you know, little little pocket of jamming a lot. And I wish they would jam into things more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a thing they've been doing since Mexico, right? You get like a little interlude that nobody knows why it happened. It just kind of appears and then gets played. And we've heard it in different spots. There are some that are far more controversial than others. Time will tell how controversial this one is, because it really is a coin flip as to which song you attach it to. And I think it's a little awkward, the song that it was attached to, but hey, that is what it is. This is a Cali jam. But boy, a bunch of it certainly sounds like a segue into
Indian River.
Oh, yeah. That was the fourth option, by the way. I just remembered now. It's like we were just like a segue kind of in between both. So it's nothing at all
that
in
kind of falls
both
into one
or either song. In any case, I forget where I was going with this. I'm like completely off the rails this afternoon.
But it was good.
I think
it was good. And then you
it's
get
neat.
You get Delta.
I was talking about the controversial aspect of it. Because some people might say this absolutely is an Indian River intro, and I don't know if I disagree with those folks. Similar to the jammed out Seekers that happened, that was part of Drive out in Cleveland. That's where I was going with it. I got it. It always comes back, man. You just got to give me a minute. It's Friday.
We get the first Welcome to Delta Jam in 11 months. Can't say I really missed it that much, but this one's pretty short. Nice and fun. Doesn't hang around long enough for it to get stale, like some other versions have. It's a good time. And then you get the set closing dawn. 18 minutes here, nice extended jam. Keeping upbeat throughout, and you get a little dip into the tension, which is foreshadowing the awesome jams that are coming in set 2 that kind of go in that direction. But yeah, I mean, this is always a great set closer, and I love when they take it out for a little walk.
Yeah, I dug the Welcome to Delta Jam here, and the sense of like absence makes the heart grow fonder. Know, it really putting yourself with some distance on that makes it. I actually just think Indian River is a great every 25th or so show song, and I think anything more than that, and it can be kind of ho hum. But maybe just because we've heard so many versions of it, and it can go on so long with the Delta Jam. And
that's
all that stuff. And a set closing dawn is dope always. It just works. So
there we go. It just works. That's the thing. Set 2 here. A lot to talk about in this set 2. I love the second set. Everything after Animal is fantastic. But they open up with Animal here. I would say I was a little bit disappointed at this call, especially given the way that the show had been going so far. But we get. I mean, it's not just your typical Animal here. They kind of chill out a little bit more, and it's unfinished, which is rare. But I think it's like 11 or so minutes of Animal open set here.
Yeah, not much to add here. A head scratcher of a set 2 opener. It's a weird one. I don't know. I don't love it in the slot, and yet my relationship with Animal is complicated. I think for a while this summer I was saying, it's an excellent set 1 closer. Especially, it was like all reliable for a while now. I think that's what I was calling it on the recap episode. But just Animal shows up and you get a bliss jam for however many minutes, and it's sick, and they move on. And then this one just didn't do anything really that knocked my socks off. It just kind of was a thing, and then we moved on to the next thing. And then it makes you wonder. Usually they come out the gates and they hit you hard in set 2, and then this one just kind of was like, we're doing a thing until the next thing.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. They did hit us hard in the next couple of songs here. This Redbird Atlas Dogs pairing is fantastic. You kind of get your relatively standard Redbird situation happening for the first 14 or so minutes. Just great improv and interplay over top of that like very rock solid rhythm section groove. And then you just out of nowhere, you break into that like kind of that Cotter like rolling beat that he does. And the way that Rick, Peter, and Trevor immediately react to that, and all three of them are just so busy for the last, or for the next few minutes of this jam, was so cool in the moment, so cool on re-listen. And it's amazing. They do it more and more now, but it's still rare that all three of them, really all four of them, are in a lead role at the same time in a jam. And so you get a very cool kind of cacophonous quality to this jam that I really, really like. What are your thoughts on this, Redbird?
I don't know, man. I listened to it a couple times today. I listened to it last night, and like it never really strays far from Redbird to me. And to that end, it's a weird approach to the song. I don't know. It didn't really blow my mind. And yeah, it's just I have a hard time with the first part of the set. I don't know. I think a lot of people are like really excited about it. And now that I've listened to it a couple times and like I find myself being forced to have opinions on it in this moment, I think I don't get what was happening here, especially with the bird. Like I feel like they should have just let loose a little bit. It's like one of those songs where they do truly let loose, and that felt like very narrow their approach to jamming in this thing. And that actually follows in the Atlas Dogs after too. So it's like animal, bird, dogs, like all in a row, just didn't do crazy things for me. And like, I don't know, maybe I need to listen more. Maybe I need to have more distance on this set. I do have to say I was listening to this show last night while I was watching my beloved Boston Red Sox get their asses handed to them and get eliminated from the playoffs. So like I might have some like negative emotions associated
might be it.
with this like second set here, because I was giving up hope because the Boston Red Sox once again let me down. But yeah, man, I have no superlatives for this Redbird, but I also don't think it was bad. It just didn't go anywhere exceptional for me.
I really like that second half of the jam type thing. And I mean, similar in this Atlas Dogs kind of thing, you get that Tarantella-ish jam for the first big chunk, and then you get nice little few minutes of Westville Rockdale type stuff towards the end, which I'm always very happy when they dip into that territory for a few minutes. It was funny. It felt to me in this jam, it felt like an Empress or a Tumble or a Jive Lee or something like that, and I was just waiting for Rick to do like the and but there was no song to go back into here, right? Like the right. So it was just funny. It's that kind of quality to that jam, because I feel like that's a space that they would hit, and then like re-enter something. But there was nothing to go back into here. So I just thought that was a funny thing that crossed my mind during the show last night. But I like this Atlas Dogs, and it's nice to see them do something different with it.
Yeah, although I mean, I guess it is different because you
the last few minutes. The last few minutes,
yeah. And then, but the Atlas Dogs jam that you get here
is tarantula neocolonialism.
Yes, and it is both a familiar jam and familiar in Atlas Dogs. They've done it in Creatures a bunch. They do it in Atlas Dogs.
Yep.
And when you get the jammed out Atlas Dogs, well, at least I want the very first Atlas Dogs. That's what I want. I want that to come back.
The second
one? Sorry. Yeah, the Portland one. That's the one I was thinking of.
422 if you're not familiar.
Yeah, check that one out. Sick. Absolutely sick. That's what I want every single time. Just like Ryan, it just yearns for the 2019, the Jazz Cafe, All I Need every time.
Actually, I yearn for Pine Creek and Bozeman 2022. But
okay, so Pine Creek. So Pine Creek. Yearn for Pine Creek every time they play All I Need, and they just don't. So therefore, it's crap.
Well, I didn't. No, that's a bit much. But I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then the absolute highlight of the show here is you're in this the crazy tense Atlas Dogs jam, and it's unresolved, and they cool down. It's like, all right, they're gonna play a ballad now. Rick starts strumming the guitar. Thought it was gonna be Jed Stone for a second, then he kept strumming the guitar, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this Dim Lights? And they're playing this intro, and I didn't want to think that they might actually be playing Dim Lights Electric as the second set cool down. And then he sang the first line, and just full body goosebumps, and I cried during it was so beautiful. And this is funny because this is a song that I think we've said on this podcast should be an acoustic song. Don't play this electric. This and Arise were keep that for the acoustic thing. We were wrong. This was just blew my mind. It broke me a little bit just because of how good it was.
Well, it's one of their best songs.
Yeah.
And I can't put my finger on exactly what makes it one of the best, but it certainly evokes an emotional response.
Emotion, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Sad boy Rick at his best.
It is Sad Boy Rick, and it's one of the rare Goose love songs. There are very few, and this one has the love song vibe to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that gets you going a little bit. Not a typical topic for Rick to be writing about, and I don't know. It's killer song, and I absolutely love it. And I have kind of said all along, they put that thing, they record it just right and release it. That thing's going to be everywhere, and they've not done that. And I don't know. Maybe they'll choose to. Maybe they won't. Who knows?
But I think that for me at least, like, you know, maybe I'm biased because I was at the one last night, but I think this should be like a once a year cover. Like that, you know, I Dim Lights being in regular rotation would be great, but I think this is a song that would be best served to be like a rarity and like something really special that they bust out, you know, once maybe twice a year.
I mean, I think this is firmly placed in the Arise Not Alone category of we're going to play this once.
Alone. Need more Not Alone.
What?
We need more Not Alone.
We need. Oh yeah, I thought you said, "What do you mean Not Alone?" I was like, "Oh yeah, no, we definitely."
That song does exist.
When was the last time it was played? You would know this.
Pittsburgh last year, 11/7/24.
That's wrong. All right, we need that in the next two shows. Let's make it happen.
Oh, that's right. I thought you were saying that my stat was wrong.
No,
I was gonna be like,
no. The fact that it has been nearly a year is wrong. Yeah. It is an injustice to us.
It is.
Fans.
It is. And the crazy thing about that, so if you look at Goose originals that have not been played in 2025,
yeah,
that list is Moonrise, Not Alone, Arise, Lily's Tiger, It Burns Within, and then you get to stuff like Interlude 1 and 3, Dragonfly, Shelf, Turkish Hills. Like, so this group of special ballads, the Not Alone, the Arise, It Burns Within, etc. This is like, so I think, yeah, Dim Lights definitely goes in this category.
Is this the part of the podcast where we complain about songs that haven't been played in far too long? Because I'd love to get on that one.
So there's this song called Torero.
Yeah.
They haven't played it in far too long. But
right.
Yeah, no, but seriously, this Dim Lights was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Like, very, very good song. Yeah. Needs to be played more often. I love that it is now an electric song.
I can't wait to listen back to this a lot. Peter's Roads, like, you know, everything about it. There's so much dimension to it in the electric format. You know, while obviously the acoustic format is absolutely incredible, but it was so great. And yeah.
Can I drop a factoid on you right now?
Yes,
just
do it.
Food for thought.
I'm ready.
Okay,
drop
so
it.
the last time that Dim Lights was played was the same time that 726 was last played.
Shit. That's crazy.
How about that?
Same day.
So we have same show. Well, same
show.
Day.
Same day.
Well, depends on who you ask.
But some people didn't go to the acoustic set, Neil.
Some people go to the bathroom during songs. Does that get removed from their stats? We're not going to get into that. We're going to talk about the rest of the show.
Different setup, several hours earlier. But
well, yeah.
We're annoying.
No, you're annoying.
So are you, Neil. You enable me. Anyway.
All right.
So that was the last time. So speaking of other songs that haven't been played in far too long, 726. What's up with that?
726. What's up with that?
But a song that has been played a lot this year and this tour, Sinner Man, comes next. I mean, this is pretty handily the best of the bunch, in my opinion. This is different, you know, and also I would like to commend Goose for the mood, pulling off this mood switch where it's like everyone's like crying like at the end of Dim Lights. And then they're like, all right, we're going to take you into a back alley and give you like the grimiest goons that you've ever heard in your life.
Yep.
As like the intro. Very well said by Grady. It was really cool and stuff.
Yeah.
It was. But this Goose is amazing. This intro jam, it's like, what song are they playing? Here's Peter turning on the ring mod on the roads, making weird sounds. Like, it was great.
I don't even know what this has become. Like, it's weird. So the concept of the Goons is morphing, and now there are varieties of Goons. And I feel like we need to categorize these things. It's funny because it all started as a joke. I want to be clear about that. The Goons thing was just something silly that was kind of said in a moment, and it was a combination of memes, and it was just like a meme word, and then it just kind of took a life of its own. And then you've had things happen over the last, I don't know, however many months, and it has evolved, right? So like there was like the dirty, grimy goons over the summer that was in the Empresses. There were a pair of them that were absolutely sick. And then that expands to when they go out and they play the really grimy creatures the other night, which I'm forgetting where they played it.
Charlotte.
And yeah, was it that one or was it
Madison?
Madison. That is the one that I'm thinking about. So yeah, so like then you get some more of this, and I think people were saying there's a very industrial tinge to this, and I agree with those people. So now you get kind of this like happy EDM-ish goons, and then you get this like raw, like industrial, just like scary shit that's like not goons. Like that's something else, and like I don't even know what to categorize this thing as, and it's awesome. It is not. When the Goons joke started, it was like, oh, it's just like a little EDM-ish, and like, haha, it's like Goose doing a caricature of like, you know, EDM kind of jam band crossover. Mm-hmm. It's gone beyond that now. It's something entirely different. It is an exciting improvisation style. It's really cool shit. And so like no longer, I think the funny Goose wearing a flat brim hat and like lasers and shit, like all of that stuff is not what I think of when I think of the Goons now. I think of an actual genuine, cool, interesting form of improv that nobody's really done before in jam scenes. Not in this way. It's not not like the Disco Biscuits.
Right. It's different.
Entirely different.
And so the cool thing about this to me is, that's the thing, that this tour, I think they've kind of gone back and forth on where the Goons is going to go next. Because there have been times where it's like Burlington, they came out and it was like, oh, this is different. Then they kind of went back to similar how they were doing it before. This is like, we're going to do the same kind of build, but the way that all of them kind of go on it, you get that infusion of that Westville Rockdale style tension build from the end of the Atlas Dogs jam. Like Rick is really getting in there while Cotter's building this tension and this energy, and then they eventually hit the drop. And I just think this is really cool. And between the intro jam and the darker tone in the middle, I think this is going on my playlist. We'll see, but I'm pretty sure this is going to make it at least in the bottom part.
Interesting. I struggle with like thinking about like where the Goons lands in my playlist or this style of jamming, because it tends not to move much. And I think the one thing I've learned about myself and like what I value more than other things in improv, and I think this might be true about you too, is I like things that move. I like dynamic jamming. I like multi-parters. I like things that are unpredictable. The Goons is none of those things, but I still want to put a bunch of it on my playlist, and like that's cool and interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to end up on my playlist. And like, I'm actually now questioning what is the Goons playlist, because I've been maintaining this thing. And as time goes on, it's changing. It's
Neil, I think
there are things that Goons, I thought. Go ahead.
I think the Goons is the friends we made along the way.
The Goons is the friend, of course. It's the friends we've made along the way. Maybe its own Goons bracket. I think that would be fascinating. Although I think there's some like immediate clear front runners just because of the way they approach the style in certain songs. But last thing that I was going to say, shoot, now you've derailed me. Damn it. I had like a cool thought too.
Sorry.
It's Friday afternoon, dude. Like, we just got to take
You're seeing
it for
Goose
what it is.
Tomorrow. You're ready. Yeah.
I am excited to see the band tomorrow. That is going to be great. At an amazing venue. And I think there's like a whole bunch of people going in for the show. Like, folks, if you're like listening to this right now and you're going to the show, find us in the lot. We're going to be in the man lot, right? We're going to be in that lot as much as we can tomorrow.
We will be in the lot. Yes.
Yeah, we do have to record a podcast tomorrow.
After we do the pod tomorrow, we're going to go to lot. But that said, we have an encore to talk about here. They come on stage and Rick's all like, "Oh well, we were going to do something else, but here's what we have time for." And they play Love Light. Turns out the something else that they were going to play was Mr. Action. Which is interesting to make a comment about in that slot. Like Rick sounded really disappointed that he didn't get to play Mr. Action in the encore.
Well, I mean, if you're a lead guitar player and you have a song like Mr. Action, you're excited to play that song because you are allowed to freely rip as much as you want for an extended period of time in like a very, Guitar Hero kind of way, not like just kind of jamming up there. He's just like shredding, and maybe he was just excited about that. I don't know.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, and then I well, in that slot, I think I might have rather heard the misdirection.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what a 4.5-minute love light sounds like.
Boy, do we ever! I mean, I feel like we've heard it a lot. I don't know.
But like, they don't play it as much as we joke about, but like they play it a lot.
It feels like a lot. It feels like this is not true, but it feels like every third show you get either a love light or
don't do it.
A don't do it. Yeah, and like that's a lot. They're good songs, but I don't know. That's a lot. Dylan says I'll never hear a love light. Dylan, you will hear a love light. Just see maybe like 4 or 5 in a row, and then like you eventually
get one.
That's kind of how it works. But zooming out on the show, I think I've said some things that might have sounded negative. I think my overall view of this show is that it is very good throughout. I think there's no yawner sections of this one where you're like, this is boring section of music, or I wish they did something here that was, not boring. I don't know. I just think zooming out the show is a good show.
But
there's
I think it's a good show as well.
Standout pieces.
Yeah, I think
standout pieces.
I like the second set a lot. First set had some moments. But yeah, overall, it's a good show. And I'm hoping one of these next two results in like a holy shit level show. Like I think we really need, like, as a send-off for this tour and the year, I feel like we could really use like a big show, like big jams, huge set list calls, like, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, there are things that are going to happen over the course of the next 2 days. They certainly have lined up some big songs. So these shows are going to be, I think, packed with good songs. I think that's the one prediction I can make.
Yep.
But you're getting a big Madhavan in the next couple of days. You're getting a big Hunger Site in the next couple of days.
You're getting a big Modern in the next couple of days.
You're getting a big Modern. You're getting maybe a Tumble. Maybe they leave it on the shelf. Rockdale hasn't been played in forever. Echo of a Rose needs to be played. I mean, there's a bunch of bangers.
Oh,
it needs to be played. Well, it was on the set list last night.
Big Modern doesn't need to be played, Neil?
I think Big Modern played in Philly. I think that's a guarantee.
Regardless,
in Philly.
And we could get a Factory. People in the chat saying so. Lots on the table. Of course. We are heading back to Allianz Amphitheater tonight for night 2 in Richmond. It's going to be great. I'll see you out there. I'm not going to
be there.
Goose. No, Neil did not cave to peer pressure, unfortunately, and is not in Richmond right now. But he'll be there tomorrow. We're going to have a great time. And we will see you guys on tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the recap, and then on lot at the Man before the show. It's going to be a good day. So, without further ado, enjoy the beginning of your weekend. Enjoy your Friday night, whether you're at the show or on the couch. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. We'll see you tomorrow.